Hey coding buds, so basically today's LEETCODE problem 657, which is a robot return to origin, and it is a kind of easy level of problem. As a problem statement is given as there is a robot starting at the point 0 0, which we can say that the origin on a two-dimensional plane. Given a sequence of its move, judge if the robot ends up at 0 0 after it completes its move. You are given a string moves that represents the move sequence of the robot where moves of I represents its ith move. Validate or valid moves are R, which is for right, L for left, U for up, and D for down. Return true if the robot returns to the origin after it finishes all its moves, or false otherwise. A note is also given here. The way that the robot is facing is irrelevant. Right will always make the robot move to the right once left will always make it move left, etc. Also assume that the magnitude of the robot movement is the same for each move. So I'm going to explain about this problem. So basically in the given problem, here we have a robot which currently stands at the origin, which we can consider it as a 0 0, as we know very about two-dimensional plane. Okay, so we know very well about coordinates in two-dimensional. That means our x axis, then y axis, x dash axis for the opposite side, or for the left side we use, and y dash axis for the downside of axis of, we consider it for downside axis. Okay, so we have an idea about uh, 2D planes. Okay, similarly here's the concept where we have to like explain that, or here we have to just define the moves of the robot, and here we have the condition, like if the robot is at the origin, then in that case we have to turn true, else we have to turn false. So here our approach is really very simple. Here the robot is already at the origin, that means at the position 0 0. Here we need to check, or here we need to validate after movement of robot whether it is like at the origin or not. If it is like at the origin, in that case we have to turn true. If it is not there, then we have to turn false. Like if I have to explain it with the example one here. So here we have moves is equal to ud. U stands for basically up, and D is basically stands for down. So we already know here that our robot is like stand at their origin. Okay, that means at 0 0. And if we are actually pointing to my u, that means u is actually a character inside that string. So u is basically for performing or for moving the robot to up direction, that means towards my y coordinate. Okay, towards my y coordinate by 1. Okay, so in that case we like robot moves by one step towards my y axis, and then again we actually doing down. Okay, so again it will like down towards y dash axis. So in that case it is now again comes at its origin. So in that case we have to turn true, as expressions like also given here. The robot moves up once and then downs once. All moves has the same magnitude, so it's ended up at the origin where it started, therefore it will return true. Similarly, if I'm talking about the second example here we have LL, which is basically stand for left and then again left. Okay, so here there are two moves for the robot which needs to perform by the robot. Okay, and here robots have to like perform two moves by left and left. That means if the robot is like already at the origin point, that means we can set it 0 0. So after performing LL, so here x coordinate, or we can set it towards x dash, we have to move. Okay, so it will be like -1 then -2. So we can consider it or assume it like that, that our robot is at -2, 0 coordinate. Okay, so we know very well after performing these two operation, that means left left, like robot has completely skipped their origin. Okay, so in that case we have to turn false, as expressions like also given here. The robot moves left twice, it ends up two moves to the left of the origin. We turn false because it is not at the origin at the end of its moves. Okay, so here we have to just perform this thing, and that's why it is considered to be like easier problem, because it's all about the game of coordinates. Here already everything is like already mentioned here. That means here we have x-axis as well as y-axis, and based on that we have to, and here also moves are like also given here, that what we need to perform. So based on that we are going to solve this problem. But before that I'd like to also discuss all about the constant. That's the moves of length must be like greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 2 2 multiplied by 10 power 4. Okay, and moves only contains the character which is like U, that means everything is in the uppercase, nothing is like in the lowercase. U for up direction, D for down direction, L for left direction, and R for right direction. Okay, and here topics are like this problem is like completely based on my mid-level and strings stimulations. Okay, and these are the similar problems which is like based on two-dimensional plane. Okay, let's try to solve this problem here. So basically, as it is already mentioned that it is a kind of two-dimensional plane, and the robot is already at the origin point. So here we have to define the two coordinates, okay, which we already use also in mathematics also, as well as here in the programming also we have to use it here. So here int x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. That means this is the origin. We can say that here I can write it as origin point for the robot. Okay, that means currently the robot is at the origin. Okay, now what we have to do here, also we have a string. Okay, that is basically kind of that basically defines the moves taken by the robot. Okay, which is the string, and we need to perform it one by one. So here what we can do, either we can traverse it. Okay, yeah, we need to traverse about the string, and based on that we need to perform the actions taken by the robot. Okay, so for that what we'll do here, I can use my for loop. Okay, for int I is equal to 0, I is less than moves dot size. Okay, then after that I plus plus till the size of the string. I must have to traverse for each and every character. Okay, and here I need to check the condition. Like I can say that moves of I if moves of I is like equal to, here if I'm talking about the example one, here with respect to example one, if I'm like traversing inside this string, that means ud, our first thing is like u. Okay, our first character is like u. So if my first character inside the string is like, we can say that u, so in that case what I will do, in that case I need to change my coordinate. But which coordinate? Do I need to change my x coordinate or y coordinate? So tell me about this thing. I hope you guys, here we have to change the coordinate towards my up direction. So if we have to dealing with up and down, so in that case we have to consider my y coordinate. Okay, so in that case here we have already started as or initialized our y as 0. So here we have to do y plus is equal to 1. That means we have to move towards my up direction. Similarly, else if I can say that if my moves is like moves of I is like equal to down, in that case what we'll do, again we have to deal with my y coordinates, but here in this time here I need to come back to my origin, that means towards y dash direction. So in that case here I can do y minus is equal to 1. That means here I need to decrement it by 1. Okay, by one position. Else if I have a condition, let's say if my moves of I is like equal to my left direction, let's say if I have to move my robot towards left direction, so in that case what I will do, here I need to move towards my x coordinates, so in that case, and it is like in the left direction. So here we know very well that if we move towards the left coordinate in two-dimensional plane, then we actually moving towards the negative sides of the x coordinate. So in that case what we'll do, like 0, -1, -2. So here in that case we have to x minus is equal to 1. That means here I have to decrement it by my one location. Okay, else if my moves of I is like equal to right, then in that case we have to do what, x plus is equal to 1. That means if it is like um, right, then in that case it is like moving towards x coordinates towards right side. Okay, so once if it will like perform all those things, like if my robot is like performing particularly this string, that means u and d, so we know very well logically that it is like at the origin, because it performs first up direction, then after it will perform down direction. So in that case it is like it is already at the origin, and after performing all the moves it is at the origin. So in that case we have to return true. So here what we'll do, here we have to check whether it is like at the origin or not. So in that case what we'll do, here we have to return if x is like equal to 0 and y is like equal to 0. That means it whether it is like at the origin or not. If it is like there, then in that case we have to do what, in that case it will return true or false. Okay, based on this given problem. Let's try to compile and run. So yeah, here compilation is completed and it executes well. Let's try to submit it. So yeah, it's submitted. So yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.